All right, guys, we are live. Hey, everybody, how's it going? I'm Brad, that's Mike, we're Dallas Geek. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Mike, how you doing?
Our Wednesday's really happy. Our Wednesday's really, honestly, truly happy days.
I mean, happy that work's over, so I'm saying that's a nice thing.
Alright, that's fair, I guess. I'll give you that one.
Yeah. But, I mean, otherwise, technically there are still at least 2 more weekdays left. 3 if you work on Saturdays. But
like this guy?
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but, you know.
Yep. Appreciate that.
No,
Appreciate that.
I mean, I try to be nice when I can.
Sure you do.
Well, try. Anyway, guys, real quick, thank you all if you are already watching us. Sorry for the couple minute delay, but we're here now. And as always, if this is your first time to watch us, please do not forget to like us over on Facebook, subscribe and like our video over on YouTube, and of course, don't forget, if you like our stuff but don't have time for our videos, you can always check out the audio of our live streams and interviews over at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. So,
you know, or if you just don't want to look at Brad's ugly mug.
But who wouldn't want to look at my face? I have a very nice face. You know, it's got very, clean lines. Although, speaking of, it does feel a little itchy right now. Is there something on my face? I can't tell.
No.
No.
Looks normal to me. No.
Okay.
Yep. You look normal to me.
Well,
Nothing out of the usual. Nope.
Thought it was worth asking. Oh well.
No, yeah, you're good. No, hey, I get it. Some days you just wake up and you just kind of feel like you're off. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever feel that way because I'm the greatest human being to ever live, but, you know.
I mean, I do have a weird, just impulse to just say, welcome to the Hunger Games, or, may the odds ever be in your favor, but I don't know why. It's just not coming to me. But... And we already have Cody in the comments over on Facebook. I cannot say what he's saying, but dear Lord, Cody, I love it when you jump into the comments. This is perfect. Anyway, so Mike,
Brad,
what are we talking about today?
The end of the world, but I feel fine.
No, I don't think that's it. No, it was something else.
There's an election here in about 4 months.
No, definitely not that.
You're not talking about that?
No, definitely not that. Man,
baseball's back in 2 days?
No, but we will actually address that soon.
We will.
Yeah. It has something to do with a mask, doesn't it? A mask and a top hat. I know. V for Vendetta.
Is it a top hat?
Pilgrim hat, top hat, aren't they essentially the same thing?
Are they?
Pretty close.
Alright.
Yeah. But anyway, no, we are talking about V for Vendetta.
It's not November 5th, though, Brad.
No, but if we're looking at the current events that we are seeing in the news every day, it does feel terribly appropriate. And
does it, though?
I still find it hilarious that right when all of this social chaos started, that's when Netflix decided, hey, you know what would be really fun? If we put V for Vendetta on for people to start watching, just because. That was perfect timing from them.
I thought that it hit like last year, and then they pulled it, and then they put it back on.
They pulled it for... I think it was early last year that they pulled it, but they got licensing back, so it kind of worked out. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
We did think that this was the perfect time to be able to talk about V for Vendetta. The movie, not necessarily the graphic novel, but we're not saying we won't talk the graphic novel too. But, you know, we're going to try not to talk about it too much because we don't want the ghost of Alan Moore to come kill us. He is dead, right?
Yeah, because he seems to pretty much hate everything that is adapted.
To just make sure, Alan Moore is dead, right? Like, we can officially say Alan Moore's ghost would come and kill us, not Alan Moore himself.
That's a good question. I didn't think he had, but let me double check. Still alive.
Okay, well, then I could be getting a knock on my front door from Rasputin soon. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, or you could just get Alan Moore punching you in the throat.
Yeah. To be fair, I feel like I'd be in good company if Alan Moore did it. I'd be slightly more concerned if Frank Miller did it. But, you know, we'll talk about grumpy. We'll talk about grumpy comic authors later.
Before we get into it, I do find it hilarious though that Alan Moore hates he hates every adaptation of his work that's been made into film.
Yeah, but we all know why he keeps selling the rights to them, because Hollywood pays well for his stuff. So as long as he's allowed to keep complaining about it after they make it, I don't think he's ever going to stop, honestly.
But say he sells it to them and then complains about how they bastardize it.
Let's just have Zack Snyder take on every Alan Moore property that has not been adapted so far and see what he really thinks.
Now, which ones haven't been adapted that are worth adapting?
I didn't say they had to be worth adapting. I just said all of his works.
Oh, okay, fair.
I mean, I want to see just how far Alan Moore can go. But anyway,
right.
Yeah, so jumping in, yeah, so Mike, V for Vendetta.
Brad. Yep.
What's it about?
Yes.
We should probably point out this is actually for which series of hours we're doing this for. You know, slightly delayed. We are actually doing this for the Does It Still Hold Up? So taking into consideration all current events, does V for Vendetta still hold up as a good movie today with everything going on, or is it just kind of yesterday's news? The trashy anarchist fantasy that everybody kind of wants to forget. What is it? Is it good? Bad? Don't know. Mike, do you have an opinion?
Yes, but you said that I can't get super political, so... No. I guess to give a quick overview of the plot, it kind of falls under the anarchist / post-apocalyptic genre, if you will. But basically takes place in centralized London. There's been a second American Civil War. London is essentially under a totalitarian regime where everything is controlled by the government. And there is a freedom fighter that's named V that is trying to liberate the country. I mean, I can go into some of the more, like, it was originally produced by the Wachowskis. Hugo Weaving's in it. He plays V.
Because
for any Matrix fans.
Because Hugo Weaving is necessary for all great films, especially of this genre.
Or of the Wachowskis as well.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman was in it, who's fantastic, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
What was it? Stephen... who plays her boss? Is that Stephen... Oh, hell. Help me, Brad. Help me, Brad.
Oh, we were literally talking about him last week.
Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Hurt's in it. The cast is really good. It's a very good, also kind of spun together web of corruption, and gives you the history of how a government can become tyrannical and how they build themselves up and how they take advantage of the populace to do so. I almost want to say in the conspiracy theory vein of like the conspiracy kind of spy movies of the 70s and late 60s. But yeah. I think more so away from the spy aspect and more so of the political commentary.
Well, so. I mean, you do have to take into consideration the inspiration for the graphic novel did come from a lot of the Cold War era communist hunts that various governments did, the U.S. government being the most notorious. But, I mean, there was a lot of inspiration from real-life events that went into it, so there would be some hint of that in the adaptation, even if, in all fairness, there were a lot of liberties taken from the original graphic novel story to the final product in the way that the fascist dictatorship was portrayed and their reasonings. The complexity kind of got flattened out a little bit.
If I remember right, in the graphic novel, wasn't it Nazis? Wasn't it an alternate history where the Germans win World War II? And it's the spread of Nazism across mainland Europe into England?
No.
Am I wrong about that?
No, yeah, that's wrong. No, it was so in this in the movie it was a far right fascist regime, and in the comic adaptation it was I want to say it was a far left communist regime that came up, but the problem was that the complexity in the graphic novel gave a lot more gray area to it rather than the very clear black and white, villain on the giant screen giving the really big, scary monologues to his henchmen in a dark room kind of thing. Which, in all fairness, if you've seen the movie and you like the movie but you have not read the graphic novel, I would highly recommend going to read the graphic novel. There is so much more there that they just could not fit into the movie because the thing is like this thick. But
yeah, and also keep in mind they toned down a lot for the movie from the graphic novel, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly an easy read in some aspects. Just keep that in mind going into it, kids.
Yeah. Now, Mike, I will okay, there you go. I was about to say, you did actually freeze just now in a very interesting facial expression.
Oh God, what is it?
I believe the kids would call that your O face.
Well, I can't see what's happening, so I can neither confirm nor deny that for anybody that wants to know.
Well, that's fair.
But moving right past this train stop.
But yeah, no. So looking at the movie and how it portrays and specifically looking at the far right fascist regime that was portrayed and the way it was portrayed in the movie. I mean, yeah. If you're gonna ask, does the movie still hold up? It's a little hard to say no, it does not, when there are certain aspects, not all, but certain specific aspects of the movie that are still reflected in modern life. Other countries, recently our country, you know, it's a little hard to not say there isn't still an applicable viewership to this movie.
Yeah, no, look, 100%. It's very appropriate when looking at a lot of the current status of the world. That there are governments out there that do suppress their people. There are governments out there that are suppressing their people's ability to obtain knowledge, whether it be through the internet, or they completely and totally control the media and what is put out and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Can I make a political swipe right now, Brad?
Yeah, might as well.
Looking at you, China. Okay.
Wow.
Moving on. You see this? You see this? This is my I don't give a crap about your feelings face. Nah. Anyway. But no, look, it's very appropriate that people are online kind of referring back to this film right now with kind of the current status of the world. Plus there's a pandemic going on, and that's kind of what helped kick off the rise of the political party into power in the film, was a pandemic. If I remember right.
Yeah.
I think it was a water treatment plant that was...
Pandemic.
It was a water treatment plant, right?
Yeah, it was a mass pandemic in America, actually, which, you know, kind of appropriate.
No. I thought it was a pandemic in England, but America had just fought its second civil war and essentially was no longer...
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless of, I think a lot of people are kind of looking at this as inspiration for, like, oh, we need to rise up and fight oppression and tyranny. It's an apt comparison in some ways, but in others it's completely not. And people are glorifying themselves as vigilantes when they're not nearly as cool as Hugo Weaving in a Guy Fawkes mask, if we're being honest.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, and that's kind of the one downside to most movies that are going to glorify the vigilante. Whether your vigilante is Batman or it's, you know, V.
Right.
The problem is there's always going to be a certain glorification of the guy that is either the anti-hero or arguably the lesser evil villain, depending on your perspective, than what real life would actually show. Because the reality is, while there are plenty of reasons where the public rising up against a tyrannical government is necessary and a very, very good thing, anytime a single individual tries to take on the role of the vigilante that's going to save the people, it doesn't usually actually work out that way. And
right.
that's a fantasy that is purely Hollywood.
Well, yeah, and that's also too why he doesn't really necessarily refer to himself as a revolutionary. He always refers to himself as a symbol.
Yeah.
That the people can get behind, a la like Batman's mentality in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
Like he is a symbol. He is a symbol for others to find inspiration from to do good. And there's also a fantastic scene in the film where the detective basically kind of talks about everything that's about to come. He's like, it's like I can see it happening. And he basically talks about all of the events that are leading up to everything that's basically going to set the powder keg off and explode.
Which, going back to something that kind of imitates life now, but well before it actually happened, I mean, about half of that entire sequence is what we've literally been watching on the daily news for almost 2 months now.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah, it's
you know.
The world's in a really screwy place right now, if we're being 100% honest. It really is.
Yeah.
But, you know, to get back to the movie,
yes.
Like you said, does it hold up? Look, the writing is fantastic. The acting is fantastic. The score, the supporting cast, the cinematography, it's a fantastically made film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you take away everything political about it and you just have a movie where it's somebody fighting, if it's where you had, even if you take away the political overtones and you have it just as a good guy versus bad guys, it is still a fantastic film.
Yeah, I mean, the cinematography, you know, like you started to mention, the cinematography alone really is worth the time to watch it.
Yes.
I mean, yes, there are some cheesy elements of the movie that you could look at and go, oh, yeah, of course they were going to do something like that. But, I mean, when you really look at it, I mean, V for Vendetta came out back in 2005.
Yep.
The Matrix came out in 99. So you
Yep.
were still at the point in cinematic history where bullet time was a relatively novel phenomenon still that was still being tested out. So the way it was implemented in this movie and the fight choreography that you got in this movie, it just flowed so well, and especially the way that they did the visible swipes trailing the V's daggers through the air. The whole choreography just felt that much more like one big dance that was
Yep.
very exciting to watch. Which
Yeah.
I have to give major props to the fight choreographer for the movie. He did a fantastic job. Just
Yeah,
fantastic.
look, and it's also, they actually also really did a good job of making V not just a human, but because there's a great line in the movie where, spoiler alert, where he gets shot a bunch by the bad guys, and he keeps coming at them, and the main villain asks him why won't he die, and he said because behind this mask it's more than just a man, it's an ideal, and ideals are bulletproof.
Mhm.
But like, they do a fantastic job of painting V as like this kind of supernatural, omnipresent kind of figure when he's on screen. Like, everybody cowers when they're in front of him, like so much so that like he is the embodiment of like the moral compass that all of these people should have.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There is a straightforward and cleanness to the way that his ideas are presented compared to the reality that you actually face outside of the movie.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, it's, and look, it, even in modern times, yes, it still socially and politically holds up. But even if you take all of that away, it's still a fantastic film that came out 15 years ago that has special effects, cinematography, and fight coordination that still holds up to anything that's come out in the last 2 to 3 years, much less, well, I can't say this year because
Wow. So
nothing's come out this year.
So I just have to stop real fast. So we've been getting a flood of comments over on Facebook, and D just absolutely got my attention. Apparently she's noticed something interesting about my beard. I'm not really sure what, but she's apparently very upset that we did whatever this thing is without her. But once again, still not sure. I think my beard looks perfectly normal. Yeah.
Hey Brad?
Yeah.
Brad,
yeah.
just really quick, could they be maybe referring to, I don't know, maybe something that happened last week?
Did
something happen last week?
I don't know what you're talking about. There definitely wasn't some trivia contest that you beat me on or anything. Definitely not. Nope.
So,
Can't recall that. No.
Maybe what you're projecting, because I don't notice anything different about you either. So maybe what you're projecting is the after effect of the trouncing that you received questioning my movie knowledge.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a trouncing so much as definitely a bit of a flounder. For
how many?
my...
Hey, Brad.
Hmm.
Brad, how many points did you have at the end of the game?
I can't recall. Definitely could not recall that one. No. But yeah, no. There's definitely nothing happening right now because of anything that happened from that game show. Nope, definitely not. Anyway.
I can't wait for round 2.
Anyway, back to
yes.
the anarchy and chaos of real life versus the movies.
Yeah, no. Look, I think, like I said, allegory and comparisons to real world aside, it's still a fantastic film. It's still a film that it's 15 years old. If you haven't seen it, what the hell are you doing with your life?
Yeah, I mean, for crying out loud, it's on Netflix. Just go watch it. Just go.
And it's not.
I mean, not now. Not now. Wait till we're done, and then go watch it.
It's not like you people that are watching us have anything better to do. I mean, wait.
Don't give them the option. Just just keep watching us. Don't worry. There's nothing else you guys need to go do right now. Just we're almost done. Just a little bit longer.
But so yeah, go watch the film. It's a great film. It holds up.
Totally did not forget to turn my work phone off. Nope. That was not what that was in the background. Oops.
Dumbass.
You know.
But yeah. Anything else we want to talk about the film, Bradley?
I mean, yeah, it's a great film that has a lot of real world implications and lessons that you can learn as long as you are able to take the very black and white, right and wrong, without middle ground message from the movie and apply it to, reality. Throw a little bit of gray in there. You would actually, there is actually a lot that you could take away from it. Alan Moore's opinion aside.
So that's actually one thing too. This movie is very black and white. There is no gray area.
No, I mean, like we pointed out earlier, the villain's literally giving his monologues to his henchmen on a giant screen in a dark room.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You don't get more stereotypical good and bad, evil and, not than that.
And what's funny is even V recognizes that a lot of the things that he does is morally corrupt.
Yeah.
But that it's what has to be done.
So.
But he views himself as somebody that can do it because of what he's gone through, and that's part of the overall backstory as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say go watch it if you haven't. Highly recommend doing that. Just remember, maybe don't have the kids in the room. If they're too young, it is pretty violent. But otherwise, no, solid movie.
And also remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. You want to finish that there, Brad?
I can think of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
No, I can think of no reason why God, I hate you, Brad. I hate you so much.
What was the real line?
Isn't it, I can think of no reason why the 5th of November should ever be forgot? Or is it the gunpowder? God damn. I hate you now. 2 minutes. Or did you take over? I don't care.
So, yeah, guys, that is about it. Like I said, go watch a movie if you haven't. Fantastic. But yeah, so with that, thank you all for joining us. If you've stuck around this long, you're awesome. Question of the day: what do you think of V for Vendetta? Do you like it? Do you not? Do you think it is still a good movie today? Please tell us down in the comments below. And once again, maybe follow-up question to that: is there something on my face? I'm not entirely sure that we're ever gonna know what's really happening. But if you guys see something, just please tell us in the comments.
Yeah, I still don't understand what everybody's freaking out about.
No,
who knows?
Now, with that, guys,
yep.
Shameless plug time once more. If you have not already, please do not forget to like and follow us over on Facebook, to like our video and subscribe over on YouTube, because our Google overlords would really love it if you did. And of course, if you like our stuff but don't always have time for the videos, you can always go check out the audio of our live streams and interviews over at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher. So,
but why would you want to do that? Because doing that won't allow you to see this beautiful face.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, I'm Brad, that's Mike, we're Dallas Geek, and see ya.